Horns, Miss Mackey here. I'm going to be talking with you today about visual aids. Visual aids, or visualizers, are useful for organizing information in a way that is graphic and helps you retain the information for later retrieval. To organize information, you need to choose the most appropriate visualizer for the task at hand. When you're organizing information like notes, you want to put it in a format that makes the most sense. You're going to determine which of these visualizers makes the most sense based on what kind of information you have. How many pieces of information, and how is that information relating to the other information in your notes? Find some blank space on your manila folder, follow along with me on the board as I go through each of these different types of visualizers, and then you'll have an easy reference guide the next time you need to organize notes in a specific way. A chart is useful for organizing information into distinct categories. If you're comparing one detail across multiple subdivisions, then a chart may be a good idea. T-charts are useful when you need to sort information into one of two options. It's also great for decision making. You can list pros in one column and cons in another. Webs or mind maps are great when you have a central idea that you then spread out into other sub-areas. You can use a mind map to help you brainstorm for an essay or a story. You can use it to categorize things like in science, or you could even use it to design and plan a project. Trees like this are great for taking something that has a large overarching concept and breaking it down into its smaller categories. We often think of timelines as only being relevant in our history classes, but they also have other uses. You can use a timeline in your English class when you're plotting a story. A flowchart is called a flowchart because it shows the logical flow of ideas, going from one step to the next to the next. Outlines are used in almost every subject. They're used from middle school all the way up through college. They are a wonderful way to organize information. Outlines are so useful because they take one large concept and show how that large concept is broken down into smaller pieces that provide even more detail to your understanding. Flashcards are another visualizer that's really common and exceptionally useful no matter what you're studying. Here are some of the most common ways to use your flashcards. You can put the term on one side, and on the opposite side, put examples and its meaning. You could include a key person and then explain why they're important to your lesson. You can list an important date on one side and then the significance of that date on the other. Or you can include the name of the list and the details contained in the list on the other side. It's true. You've been using some of these visualizers since you were in second, third, fourth grade. But the reason we're talking about it today in your advisory class is that these tools sometimes get forgotten. The purpose of these study skills lessons is for you to refresh your memory about all of these tools that you've probably seen somewhere throughout your school life, but maybe you stopped using them. As teachers, we often ask you to take notes and collect information from a variety of sources, maybe from us and our PowerPoints, or from a textbook, or from some other passage. What we're actually asking you to do is find a way that makes sense to you to organize that information so that you can learn it and recall it later. During this next week, challenge yourself to use one of these visualizers in an unexpected way. The next time you're asked to take information from a source, textbook or PowerPoint presentation, try putting it into something other than just lines of text. By adding some visual interest, your brain is more engaged and more likely to retain the information so that you can use it later. I hope today's lesson has been informative. I hope that you picked up at least a little something that maybe you had forgotten about, and I hope that you can find a way to use it in your daily life. I'm Miss Mackie Longhorn signing off. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.